Hi, everyone. Today we're going to talk about how to deal with in laws. For those of you who are married or are in long term relationships, we know how challenging it can be sometimes to deal with our in laws or with your partner's parents. Obviously, if our in laws are kind, loving people, life would be grand and we wouldn't need to talk about this topic. So, what happens when we have in laws that are sometimes moody, not considerate, nosy, and even toxic? I will answer that later in our discussion. Right now, we're going to talk about how to deal with our in laws if they are normal, positive, and kind, loving people. As a general guideline, here are 6 ways of how we should always try to deal with our in laws. The 6 ways will be designated by the spelling of the word in laws, INLAWS. Okay, so before we start this, I just want to say um, the reason why we're going to talk about this is that I do occasionally get a lot of questions surrounding this topic of how to deal with in-laws. It's like any family relationship. It's very tricky, and we have to navigate in a careful manner so that we don't necessarily offend people, and we also have to make sure that we ourselves are are doing the right thing and behaving in the right manner as well. So let me just start with the letter I is for inviting. Be inviting and welcoming to your in laws. If they live far away, let them know they're always welcome to come for a visit. It's just a way to let your in laws know that they will always be welcome whenever they visit. This is similar to the open door policies that some companies have for their employees. It's a way of letting the employees know that management is approachable and welcome a two-way rapport to facilitate honest, productive communication. So let me just say this again. So, basically, this is just a way to let your in-laws know that they're always welcome, okay? That they always can come for a visit. And this is just similar to, for those of you who are working in the corporate world, there's companies that do say that they have an open door policy, which basically means that management is letting the employees know that they're approachable and that they welcome a two-way rapport to facilitate honest, productive communication. By the same token, being inviting and having an inviting attitude lets your in laws know that they always have access to your life. Okay, so I just want to put that out there. I know in my current marriage, I did run into this little issue because I didn't know that my in laws wanted to know that they were invited, and I never, I assumed that that's another thing we all need to think about. Don't assume things. I just automatically assumed that they know that they're always welcome to our house, but I didn't know that it had to be verbalized. So I'm just throwing it out there. It doesn't apply to every family, but in my situation, I didn't know that my in-laws needed to be actually invited. So I did at that point I did clarify the misunderstanding, and I let them know that they're always welcome to our house and they're invited anytime they want to come and visit. Okay, so um so if in case I'm just saying this as a possible that is something that it can't hurt. It doesn't hurt to be inviting, even though they may know it already. It doesn't hurt to say it once in a while. Let them know they're always welcome to come over. Okay. The next one is N for nurturing. Be nurturing and caring when needed. When life happens and they share problems, whether they're general problems or health problems, try to be empathetic to their feelings. Nurturing a relationship builds trust and healthiness of a relationship. Okay, so as we know, for those of us who are older or in our mid years, midlife or older, we have aging parents. So therefore, there are going to be probably more discussions about health than regular problems or discussions. So it's just something to keep in mind when your aging parents or in-laws start talking about their health issues. We just have to be understanding, listen to what they have to say, be nurturing. If you have any advice or information about health that you want to offer up, that would be the time to do that. Um, so that was N, and then the next one is L for leisure. Look for leisure and fun activities you can enjoy with your in-laws. Find common ground for things to talk about and common interests. My in-laws like going out to eat, watch movies, music concerts, and clothes shopping. So whenever we get together, we plan on those common activities so we can enjoy them as a group. Okay, so again, this will be a unique situation to every family. I just shared with you what my in-laws enjoy. So whenever we get together with them, whether it's at our house or at their house, we don't live in the same state. So whether we visit them or they visit us, we know what our common interests are. So we generally we plan activities around things that we both enjoy, and it's worked out very well. For the past almost 9 years, we've had a very pleasant relationship, and so when we get together, it's very enjoyable and fun. Okay. And of course, the more you have in common with your in-laws, the more enjoyable it is. But even if you don't have a lot in common, whatever little you do have in common, I would just focus on those things. Okay. Even if it's just one or two things that you have in common, I would definitely plan a visit whenever either they visit or you visit them. I would make sure that those items that you have in common um, are done, because this way it just makes it more fun. A for appreciative, for appreciative. Be appreciative of the kind gestures and the acts of generosity towards you. As an example, my current in-laws always send us birthday cards with beautifully handwritten personal messages in the card. And we do as well. When we send messages, when it's their birthday, we always send a card. Or when it's Mother's Day, Father's Day, we always send them a card as well. They also mailed us a fruit basket for the previous Christmas holiday. We always express our gratitude and appreciation to them every year and are thankful they are thoughtful and kind. When we get together every year, we will buy my father in law a can of boiled peanuts because we know he loves to eat them. And oftentimes, I'll pick up some fashion jewelry or trinkets that I know my mother in law will love. So it's finding creative ways to not only express appreciation, but to also show appreciation. Okay. And again, this is going to vary depending on your own family's situation. Everyone has their own likes, and you'll just have to get to know your in-laws to find out what they like, what they don't like. And so, like, it doesn't have to be anything extravagant or expensive. As I shared just now, my father-in-law loves peanuts, and my husband knows he loves to eat the boiled peanuts. So it's sometimes the smallest things just brings people a lot of joy. So it's not about how much money it costs or how large it is. It's just finding those things that bring people joy. And so every year when we do see my father-in-law, we make sure we go out to the supermarket. We find a huge can of the boiled peanuts. And I know my mother-in-law. I know her taste in clothes and jewelry. Right from the beginning, when we started clothes shopping, I was paying attention, and I looked at what she liked. I see how she dresses, so I know this. I know her taste in clothes and jewelry. So once in a while, if I happen to be shopping with my husband and I see a piece of jewelry or something that I think she'd appreciate, I just go and buy it for her. And again, we're not talking expensive things, okay? So it's just these little things that do matter. And so, every in-law is different. So whatever you take the time to get to understand them, get to know them, find out the things that they like, and when you see them, just give it to them as a gift. And it's just little things like that that go a long way. And I think when there's kindness and thoughtfulness in relationships, it really helps to build the trust and the closeness in a relationship. I think it's very important. So that's for A, for appreciative. Next is W, for wise. Be wise to pick your battles. Give grace when needed. If they're having a bad day and are in a bad mood, try to be understanding and compassionate and provide comforting words of encouragement. So let me say it again. Be wise to pick your battles. Give grace when needed. If they are having a bad day and are in a bad mood, try to be understanding and compassionate and provide comforting words of encouragement. If you come to a topic that you don't agree on, you can politely say, "We can agree to disagree," and then change the subject and talk about something else less controversial. Okay, so in our situation, we have a lot in common I have a lot in common with my in-laws. Um, and so when we all get together, there really isn't a lot of things we don't talk about. As a matter of fact, I really enjoy talking to my in-laws because a lot of the common interests, we have a lot of common interests, whether it's politics, religion, just everything. I can't think of anything at this point that we don't I can't think of any topic, I should say, that's off limits to discussion. So fortunately, in my situation, my in-laws and I have a lot in common, and when we do get together on the phone, either on the phone or in person, we just have a lot to share, and it's an enjoyable conversation. So in my situation, I don't have to really be careful of topics that are off limits. Now, sometimes, I mean, there has been once in a while, my in-laws, may be in a bad mood or they're tired, and everyone has a right to be tired and in a bad mood. So, like I said, if there's ever a situation where your in-laws are in a bad mood, I would excuse it. I would give them a pass on that, because we all have those kind of days, right? Especially as I mentioned before, are some your in-laws and your parents may be at a point where they're aging. They may have health issues. They may have every day. They may be experiencing some kind of minor or major health issue. So we just need to be cognizant and compassionate towards them, because someday we're going to be old too, and as we get older, we may end up having some kind of health condition or problems that where we're not going to feel our best every day, right? So just keep that in mind. And next one is S for supportive. Be supportive of their needs to lend a helping hand when needed. Keep in mind that our in-laws are a little older, and as they age, they may need help around the house and may not be able to do things as their bodies age. For instance, my father-in-law can't see that clearly when driving at night. So we try to make plans that don't include him driving at night. Last year when we spent a week visiting them, they had some outdoor house repairs that required standing on a tall ladder. So my husband offered to help them while we were there. And likewise, when we visit my parents, we also have helped them out with certain repairs and lawn work. So it's being aware of the limited mobility and health of our in-laws as they get older and being supportive when the opportunities present themselves. So this is similar to what I just had said. Uh, being supportive is also very important. So, like I shared, in both of our cases, in my parents and my in-laws, they are getting older, and so we are more than happy to assist them and help them whenever we go visit them on certain chores around the house or outdoor lawn work that they need to get done, whether it's just simple things like changing out a light bulb outside or getting on a tall ladder. Whatever it is, we are more than willing to help out. And so I just want to pass that. I'm sure this is a lot of this is common sense. I'm sure all of you know that, and you guys will be supportive when possible, right? Um, so all these six ways work well if you're dealing with well-adjusted, positive, and loving in-laws. So some of you may be wondering now, Lucia, what if my in-laws are difficult to get along with, intrusive, rude, and disrespectful? In those instances, you would deal with them the same way as you would with anyone in your life that is toxic. Toxic people are emotionally abusive, manipulative, and controlling. If you have toxic in laws, then I recommend you begin setting boundaries with them. Please take the time to see one of my previous videos called How to Deal with a Toxic Relationship. Towards the end of this video, I provide a link to that. Towards the end of this video, I've provided a link to that video. So when we get to the end of this video, on your left upper right, you'll see a link to that video on how to deal with a toxic relationship. So I recommend you check that out if you haven't seen it. Just click on that video on the top left of your screen to view it. That video will give you step-by-step instructions on how to set boundaries when dealing with toxic people. Okay, so I just want to stop right here. In that other video that I talked about, I do go into detail at great lengths about toxic people and how to set the boundaries. So I just want to say I don't know the percentage of in-laws who are toxic. Okay, I don't know, but I know in my one of my previous marriages I did have a toxic in-law, and unfortunately, after we tried to set boundaries and they weren't respected, we had to actually cut that in-law out. So that was very unfortunate, and my husband and I had no other choice. It was getting really toxic. So, but I hopefully by setting a boundary, they will respect it, and so it doesn't get out of hand. But I know there has been a lot of questions that I received once in a while about this topic about what to do if you have a toxic in-law. So the six things we talked about just now all pertain to normal, positive, loving in-laws. So my advice to all of you is that if you do have toxic in-laws, the first thing to do, which I do mention in that video, so please check it out, is that you have to set boundaries. Okay, so there are actually two things I recommend in that video that you need to do when you are dealing with toxic relationships. So please check that out when you get a chance. But for now, for this discussion, I would just say that it's toxic people you are very difficult to deal with, and they are extremely hurtful, and they're emotionally abusive people. And I've also said it in another video that emotional abuse does have long-term effects on you mentally and physically. So I would never recommend people to tolerate toxic abuse. You just can't. It will, because toxic people are emotionally abusive, they will eventually cause you harm, both mentally and physically. Okay, so even though they may be your family, friends, or even your in-laws, I just don't. It's not a good thing to ever enable or tolerate toxic abuse. Okay, so but in my video, in that video, how to deal with toxic relationships, it will give you good information, step by step, on how to deal with toxic people in general. Okay. Sometimes the relationship between you and your in laws may improve after setting boundaries. If your boundaries are respected, then you will be able to maintain a healthy mutual relationship. However, sometimes if your in laws are too toxic and don't respect your boundaries and continually cause conflict and drama in your life, then you will need to set firmer boundaries. And that will also be covered in my video, How to Deal with a Toxic Relationship. Okay. I get questions on how to be a great daughter-in-law or son-in-law. My answer is that it's not necessary to go overboard and try too hard. Just be yourself and follow the six ways we talked about today, which are I, for inviting, to be inviting; N, nurturing, to be nurturing; L, for leisure, look for leisure and fun activities that you both can do together; A, for appreciative, be appreciative of your in-laws; W, wise, to be wise and understanding; and S, to be supportive. Okay? In summary, we need to keep in mind that every relationship is a two-way street. People don't get a pass for toxic behaviors, and that includes not only strangers, but friends and family also. All of us deserve to be treated with respect and love and kindness. At very minimal, we need to be treated with respect, which means being civil to each other. Okay, let me just say it again. This is very important. In summary, we need to keep in mind that every relationship is a two-way street. People don't get a pass for toxic behaviors that includes not only strangers, but friends and family also. All of us deserve to be treated with respect, love, and kindness. At the very minimal, we need to be treated with respect, which means being civil to each other. You may not like each other or don't see eye to eye in many areas, but the minimal respect needs to be there. So a healthy and successful relationship can be maintained. At the end of the day, for the sake of family, I don't think it's too much to ask for everyone to do his or her share to be respectful. After all, our in-laws are part of our family, so let's do our part to build a relationship. Okay? All right, folks. That about wraps it up. It's a little bit of a short video. But as I said, even if like I said, even in a not ideal situation where you may not have a lot in common with your in-laws, it's important that we all try to get along and try to be civil to one another. And by civil, I just mean just respectful, be courteous. Okay, we don't have to be the best of friends. We don't have to be. There's no rule saying that we have to be very close to our in-laws or family. But I think it's fair if we can all try to be civil with each other, even if that just means staying on safe topics of conversation. Okay, or it could just mean that you may not have a lot to talk. You may not have a lot to talk about because if you don't have a lot in common, you may not have a lot to talk about. But there's no reason why we all can sit in silence, enjoy a meal together in silence, and just be courteous. Stay on safe conversations like the weather, where you live, the home projects that you're engaging in at the moment, right? These are all safe topics of conversation. We don't need to go into controversial issues that is going to cause a problem or even a debate, right? We don't need to go there. So, and again, like I said, as I said just now, toxic people don't get a pass, and that includes in-laws, unfortunately. So, because our mental health and our physical health is important, and no one deserves to be emotionally abusive. No one deserves to be emotionally abused and treated in a disrespectful, rude manner. Okay, so anyway, I hope this video has been helpful. If you like it, please click like and click share. And if you have any comments or questions, please put in the comments below. If there's anything that's worked for you, if you have any other advice that you want to throw out there, please put it in the comments so everyone can read it. I'm sure there's other ways people have worked around to get along with their in-laws. So please, I welcome those comments. Please share them so everyone can read it. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can you can be notified of all my future videos. Okay, everyone? So everyone, have a great week, and I will be in touch again soon. All right? Okay, bye.